A double IPA for less than £2. Surely it's going to taste awful. Well, if you carry on watching this review, you'll find out. Let's get ready to rock. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're reviewing another beer from the Lidl Beer Festival. Now this one I think is going to be a bit special. This is Luminous Nights. It's by 71 Brewing Company and it's a New England double IPA coming in at 7.4%. Now most double IPAs usually are 8% and upwards, but this is a little bit less. But it's £1.99. This is a pricey beer in Lidl. Well, this is the most expensive one. £1.99. 440ml can. Let's see what it's like. What does it say on the? It says Luminous Nights is an amped up version of a Luminous Lights. Now that was in the beer festival in the springtime, I think it was, with extra hops and malt. This is a New England dipper. Provides a big tropical hit both in aroma and taste with low bitterness and showcase the yeast and hops. What yeast and hops is in it? Doesn't look like it says anything on there, so I'm not sure what it's got in it in terms of hops. But let's get this beer out of the can and into a glass and check it out, shall we? This one I'm probably been looking forward to the most because I just think that I'd heard good things about Luminous Lights. So if this is as good as that, if not, is it going to be better even? Well, let's check it out. Right, beer in a glass. We've got a sort of, it's yellow haze, but it's. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it back now. I'm seeing the light there. From on the screen, it looks like it's got a slight sort of brownish, greenish tinge, but here it is pretty yellow and custard looking. One finger little head, pretty tightly compacted. Let's get some aroma, shall we? Yeah, I mean, a bit of peach maybe, bit of mango. It's not real fruity and punchy in terms of the aromas. It's fruity, tropical, but really difficult to pick out. I mean, it's got a bit of a sort of mix of everything. I think the proof is going to be in the drinking. So, cheers everyone. It's got a nice soft mouthfeel. But it's got... the flavour's just a little bit mixed around a bit. You've got a bit of pineapple and mango in there, and then you've got the stone fruit sort of flavours. You've got apricot and peach. They're quite big. It does taste a little bit thin. It's got a medium body and it's soft. But the flavour's a little bit sort of wishy-washy. You get that peach and apricot. But, with a double IPA, when you usually get those stone fruit flavours, they're really sort of strong and punchy and almost chewy, really overly ripe flavours, but all taste a little bit subdued. And we're going into that point, which I think we certainly had in the supermarket beers. I've always found that a lot of the beers are, they taste all right, they're not bad, and they're pretty good for the price, but there's just something lacking, and they just taste a little bit more diluted, as if they're just a little bit more watery. They're just flavours just don't punch enough, and this falls into that category a little bit. Certainly not unpleasant. There's a little bit of a warmth there, a little bit of a hot burn on the back end I'm tasting now. But there is that, when you drink it, it just tastes a little bit watery and lacking, which you don't get from the bottle shops. And to be honest, the recent Tesco and Morrison's beers, certainly the ones from North Brewing, the salt ones, all of those sort of beers, and there's quite a few different double IPAs in that lot. They have real sort of, the flavours have seemed much more punchy this time. But this is under the old, for £1.99, there's got to be some sacrifices. And for me, it just doesn't quite hit the mark. Not unpleasant, but I was expecting better. It just... it has that sort of orangey, peachy, apricotty, but it's all very, very sort of, it comes onto your mouth and then disappears. It doesn't stay. A double IPA, a really good one, has those flavours that almost stick around, stick to your tongue, and you can taste them before you've taken your next mouthful. This, it's a little bit lacking. I'm a little disappointed with that, but let's get some scores, shall we? Okay, the scores are in for Luminous Nights. This is from the 71 Brewing Company. It's a New England double IPA. I'm a little disappointed. I think I went into it with high expectations and they haven't really been met. First things first, the aroma. There is certainly some sort of tropical sort of aromas there, but they're all a little bit sort of mixed up that you can't really pick out the stuff. So you get there's a bit of subtle pineapple, there's a subtle bit of passion fruit, but really it's, you know, you're getting the stone fruit, the apricot and peach. So it's not horrible, but it's not great. 12 out of 20. Appearance, well, it's a nice orangey sort of colour. You've got a nice, you can see the nice lacing of the glass there. It looks quite good in there. No sort of floaters or sediment in there at all. It's 7 out of 10. It's not the nicest looking. It's a little bit sort of, again, watery looking, I think. Flavour. I mean, it doesn't taste bad. It's just, I'm just penny under £2. You've got to rein in those expectations, but I just don't think that the flavours really sort of jumped out. That it was difficult to really pick out the flavours, apart from maybe that peach and apricot, but it had a very watery sort of flavour to it. I wouldn't say it was water as in thin, because it's quite soft mouthful, medium to low bodied, sort of not much carbonation. So on those sort of bases, you know, that ticks the boxes for a New England IPA. But the flavours were just a bit lacking. So marking it down a bit, 30 out of 40 for flavour. Value for money though, well, you know, a 7.4% double IPA for less than £2. I mean, that's ridiculously cheap. It's would I pay an extra £1.50 to get a, you know, one of the double IPAs from Tesco or Morrison's? Probably would actually, you know, because, you know, why drink something that's cheap, but, you know, you're not getting the full benefit from it. It's not the greatest, but, you know, value for money, you've got to give it quite high, 9 out of 10, just because quite good, our high alcohol content, and it's, you know, you never could have got a double IPA for £2 in any bottle shop, you know, unless it's, you know, 11 months out of date. So finally, overall experience. Well, it's not unpleasant. It's just lacking. For a double IPA, I expect bigger, punchier, fruitier flavours, and I'm not getting it with this. Obviously, they've got to, you know, how they work on their margins to get it in. I mean, I'm buying that for £2. They're probably selling it into Lidl for a lot lower. So, you know, I think they've got to water it down a little bit. I don't think the brewery was saying, well, if we want to brew this beer, if it's a free £4 can of beer, then we won't need to sort of water it down as much, and it probably would taste better. But maybe they're thinking, well, you know, little beer drinkers are not as sophisticated, but we are, you know, we should stand up. We know what we're doing. We go scoping out the supermarket beers, we go to Tesco's, we go to Morrison's, we do 15-mile trips to get the right beer. So don't take us for fools. 11 out of 20 overall experience. So we get another 69, similar to the last one from the 71 Brewing Company. That was the sour orange IPA. 69, high Bon Jovi. I'm hoping we're going to start getting better. I thought that was going to be the best one out of the lot. So if they're all at that level, I don't know whether I'd be happy to spend less than £2. I'd rather save my money and buy, instead of buying two at that price, I'd rather buy one, you know, double the price. But until the next one, let's hope they get better. Keep on rocking.